Hello there, everybody. This is Voccio here, and I guess this is a thoughts slash review video on SOMA because I really wanted to make a video on this game. I really wanted to do something on it because I absolutely adore SOMA. I think it's an awesome game, but the thing is, I wanted to make a let's play on it, but I didn't have enough space on my hard drive to put the videos there, and you know, I've already beaten the game, and the problem with this game is the way it works and the way the story is. You can only really play through it once and you get everything from it, and it really makes me sad that I can't make a let's play for you guys because I would love to, but like I said, the journey of discovery has already been made, and this game is at its strongest the first time you play through it. Playing through it, you know, more than once is just you know. So I won't be doing it, unfortunately, but like I said, I did want to make a video on this game because I absolutely adore SOMA. I think it's an amazing title. I think it's one of the best games of the year, to be honest with you guys, as a horror game. So I'd like to talk about where we are, and where we are is inspired. I don't think I've ever seen a game do this before. I don't think I've ever seen a game of any genre, let alone a horror game, where it works. But I mean, where it works so well, where you are at the bottom of the ocean, like actually, you know, the abyssal plane, the black, pitch dark part of the ocean. I've never seen a game do this. I've never heard of a game that puts you in this environment. And I can't think why, because this is so good for a horror game. Yeah, I mean, we had BioShock that was under the sea, and that was kind of a horror game, I guess. But seriously, I mean, has anyone ever seen a game where you were on the abyssal plane of the ocean, you know, in the pitch black section of it? And it works so well for a horror game, you know, because there's all that fear of the unknown and everything. There's all this darkness around you, and look, follow the lights, stay close to the lights. That's a great mechanic, I think, as well, and it really works for this underwater stuff. Because, you know, it's all pitch black, and I'm assuming these things can't see. Like, I don't know, maybe, I don't know, I'm not a marine biologist. I'm not a whale biologist. But yeah, I think it's really, really well done. And there's our mate, look, he stalks us throughout this entire section. He's a cunt. But yeah, I think that this game is one of the best horror games I've seen this year, at least. Just because of the design of it, the environmental design, the sound design, the atmosphere it's got, and particularly this ending, you know, this section here, which is near the end, near the climax of the game. It's such a great build-up as well. This is, one of the a problem I have with a lot of horror games is they always show their deck before the climax. You know, they always build up the scares and the fear before, when we're already coming towards the end of the game. Sorry, when we're not coming towards the end of the game. But this game doesn't. This is really close to the climax of the end, and this is what you get. You are on the abyssal plane of the ocean. Such a brilliant idea. I fully applaud Frictional Games for doing this. I absolutely love this idea. And it works so well for horror. I'd like to talk about story a little bit, if I may. So, I don't know, skip ahead about a minute, about 60 seconds. Maybe a minute and a half if you don't want spoilers. But yeah, the story basically starts with, you know, you wake up in a chair. Well, sorry, no. The story starts with you going for a scan for your brain in Toronto because you're playing as this guy who's got a problem with his brain bleeding. You get the brain scan. You sit in the chair where the scan happens. Then all of a sudden, when the thing comes up off your head that scans your brain, you're in a different place. Like, you see it's all dark around you and the lights come on, and then you realise you're not where you were before. You're in some kind of facility, an underwater facility, and you go around trying to figure out what's going on. You run into robots that think they're people, which is freaky. Like, genuinely think they are human beings. And it makes you be like, what the fuck? What's going on here? You kill one by disconnecting its power, which made me feel guilty as all hell. And then eventually you get called by someone called Catherine. You go to meet her. And you run into her, and she tells you basically what's going on. She tells you that that the entire place was wiped out, that all of planet Earth has been destroyed by a meteor, by an asteroid that hit the planet and wiped out the entire surface, and the only life left on the planet is now in Pathos 2, this underwater facility. These are the only human beings left on the planet. and you find out that you are also a robot. Because the thing is, back in 2015, when they did that scan of your brain, because the year in this game is 2103, by the way, when you got your brain scan in 2015, it literally made a backup copy of your consciousness, of your mind. It made a digital copy of your entire of your consciousness, basically. And your digital consciousness was placed into a new body. But the thing is, your consciousness was only conscious of the point up to the brain scan. So that's why it felt like at the beginning of the game when you wake up, because that was the next thing that version of you knew. That digital version of you only knew everything up to the point where the brain got scanned. And when it wakes up, that's when time carries on for that. And I think the question this game is raising is, what does it mean to be human? Like, if you were to take a person's thoughts and feelings and consciousness, everything that made them who they were, everything that made a human being, and you were to put it into a robot body, would that robot be a human? If they thought, acted, and felt like a human being did, you know, if they could judge situations, if they had a conscience, if they had feelings, if they cared, if they didn't care. You know, if they were the same, if the robot was exactly the same as the person it came from, would that still count as a human being? And I think that's the question this game raises. You know, that's what it plays with, and it's an interesting thought exercise. It really is, and you know, there really is no clear answer because everyone's going to have a different answer to this question. You know, some people will be like, yes, our mind is what makes us human. Some people will be like, no, our flesh is what makes us human. You know, and it's a question that really doesn't have an agreed answer, and I think it's such a great idea to raise a question like this with this game. And you know, this is why I love the storytelling of this game. I think it's really well done. Oh, I also want to talk about this section here. Like, I really like this section where you have to follow this little robot around, you know, with the lights, because it's all pitch black around you. By the way, guys, this section right here, when you're walking around in the dark following the little robot, the sounds going on around your character, and the whining noise the little robot are making, they all combine so well to really freak you the hell out, you know? Because, I mean, look at this. I am literally restricted to following this little robot. I can't do anything else. And, you know, I've got pitch darkness all around me. I don't know what the fuck's out there. You don't need to worry about that guy. But, yeah, so I want to talk about this game's sound design a little bit. I think we've already said enough about the story. This game's sound design is second to none, in my opinion. This is one of the best. This game has some of the best sound design I've ever heard as a horror game. I honestly think it's on par. Alright, mate. I honestly think it's on par with Dead Space standards. Because the thing is, I absolutely adored the sound design in Dead Space 1. I thought it was absolutely stupendously brilliant, and I think this game matches it in terms of how good the sound design is, and how good the atmosphere building is, and how good the environment, is. It's some of the best done horror sound design I've ever heard, because it really gets you on edge, especially in this section of the game, where you know you're in the abyssal plane. And these caves are just about long enough to feel, you know, long. There's not really... I mean, we're coming up to something that I wanted to talk about. By the way, these are little spider things. What are they? I don't know. I don't know that much about the bottom of the ocean. I know a little bit, you know, but not a lot. So I don't know what these things are. Basically, you know, the entire objective for this section is follow the lights. But I do believe we are coming up to what I want to talk about now. Yeah, we are, because we're at the exit to the cave. Like, that little light that just appeared on the left. Now, wait until you see what that is. That's right, it is an anglerfish. So, what I like about this, by the way, he's fucking ugly, isn't he? Jesus, get away from me, get away from me. So I didn't die to that guy, luckily, he's never killed me. But the first time I went through this game, I actually thought that light was helpful. You know, I thought I was supposed to go towards it, which... That's brilliant. That's fucking genius right there. Because, you know, the thing is, the entire point of the light on an anglerfish, evolutionarily, you know, is to attract creatures to it. You know, it's to attract things. That's what the light's for. And that's exactly the effect it had on me when I first played through this game. You know, I was attracted to that light because I thought it was a good thing. So the anglerfish literally caught me. And when I realized what had happened after it happened, I thought that was awesome. I thought that idea was brilliant. Like I can't fault that at all because it work. It works. It does exactly what it's supposed to do. It lulls you in. It attracts you to it like an anglerfish would. So that was really well done. And then there's that guy again. We'd have to worry about him. But then there's this section. Look at the lights. Look at how far apart they are. This I like because the lights are just, because the thing is, I can barely see anything with this current going on, right? Because all the water's, rushing past us. There's some kind of heavy current. And the lights are just the right distance apart to make you shit yourself every time you're crossing one of those dark patches. I mean, look at this. I mean, look how far away that light is. And how long it takes us to get to it. And look at the current, blocking your vision so you can barely see anything. And remember, all around us is pitch blackness. That big guy could be anywhere right now. I also want to talk about the enemies in the game, because I think the enemies are an issue, to be honest with you guys. As much as this is a horror game and it's a fictional game, and I get it, you can't fight back against the enemies, I wish you could in this game, because the problem with the enemies in this game is they feel like roadblocks. That's all they just feel like obstacles to slow you down. And I know, that's the point of enemies in most video games. I get that. But the thing is, in a good video game, they don't feel like that. Whereas in this game, the enemies feel like obstacles. They don't feel like things that you should be scared of. They feel like things that you just need to avoid, and they annoy you because you can't avoid them so well because they track. Like, the AI kind of hovers around where you are in some cases, and that's really fucking annoying because of the fact that you can't fight back against them. There's nothing you can do to get rid of them. I mean, I would have no problem with it if they just stuck to a predetermined patrol route, but the fact is their AI kind of locks onto where you are and hovers around your position, and the fact that you can't do anything to slow them down or fight back makes them just really, really, really annoying. They're not scary as horror enemies, they're really not, because once you get how they work, and literally, I started to get pissed off at them on my first playthrough, guys. It was that bad. The enemies were that bad. So yeah, I think the enemies in this game are problematic. I don't like them at all. I think this game is at its best and its scariest when there are actually no enemies near your position. When there's no enemies around and the sound design does its work, that's when the game's fucking terrifying. The enemies though, just no. I don't like them. I don't like them at all. But I want to end at things. I wanted to talk a little bit about the puzzles, how they work. The puzzles are kind of environmental. You press buttons on panels. You pull out power wires. There's a lot of environmental interactivity in this game. You can interact with the environment a lot. Do all kinds of different stuff. Like, I pressed that little button to open that door by pressing my R2 button and everything. I picked up the Omni tool earlier. I can even close that door, which I'll be doing in a second, to hide from this enemy that's about to appear. But yeah, these enemies are just cock blocks, guys. They really are. They annoy me. They could have been better. They really could have been. That's the one negative point I've got about this game. Everything else I adore. Everything else about this game I love it. But I fucking hate the enemies. They're that bad. So yeah, the puzzle solving is mainly environmental stuff. It's all about pressing the right buttons at the right time. Activating computer terminals to activate certain functions and all that kind of stuff. It's pretty good. It's pretty cool. The puzzle interaction is pretty cool. It's all well done, and the environmental interaction is good. By the way, the dude is right behind this door. He's literally right behind the door waiting for you. He's that much of a dick. At this point, I could hear him. And you see I fucking take off running. And there's the dude again, in front of us. But yeah, we're coming to the end of this now. Less than a minute left. But there's the enemy at the end of the hallway. The enemies are this game's biggest problem, guys. They really are. But as I said, that doesn't make it a bad game. The environmental design and the sound design make this game terrifying when it needs to be. When you're on your own and when you're in the right environment. But this is how you tell a sci-fi story. This game tells a story so fucking well. So final thoughts. I would give this game a 9 out of 10. Or maybe an 8 because the enemies are that bad. Yeah. So my thoughts on SOMA, 8 out of 10. I adore this game and I think any horror fan should play it if you're a horror fan and you like a good story. But thanks for watching, guys. I'm out. Feel free to like and subscribe, guys.